Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest 2021 NFL preview video. Today, I'm going to break down the Los Angeles Rams. But before I get started, if you are brand new here, this is your first time here, I just got a simple question to ask you. Do you like football? Because if so, welcome, man, because you're in the right place. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, ring the bell. That way you can be notified every time I come out with a new video. If you've been here before, you already know the drill. You give me a thumbs up, and you drop a comment below with your opinion. Here's how this video is going to work. I'm going to give you 3 things about the Rams I like, followed up by 3 things I don't like, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under, and I reveal if I'm going to put action down on the Los Angeles Rams. So let's get this started with the first thing I like about the Los Angeles Rams. This should be obvious, but it's the dynamic duo of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, universally considered the best defensive tackle and the best corner in the National Football League. And last year, the NFL did the top 100 list, and Aaron Donald was number 3. He was the top defensive player in the NFL. And almost universally, everybody considers Aaron Donald the number 1 defensive player in the NFL. So you have the best corner in football and the best defensive tackle in the National Football League. And Aaron Donald almost universally is considered the best defensive player in the National Football League. The second thing I like about the Los Angeles Rams is trading for Matthew Stafford. I honestly don't know if I've ever seen an NFL team trade multiple picks to get the number 1 pick in the draft, give that player a record-breaking new contract, win a playoff game with him, and then trade him the next year with multiple picks for another quarterback. Now, I like Jared Goff more than most people, and I really thought the Rams could win with Goff, and I think could win a Super Bowl with him. But in my opinion, I do think Stafford has more upside and overall is a better quarterback. If nothing else, you have a stronger arm. And this is not a slight on Goff, but Stafford has elite arm strength. So if nothing else, the Rams are definitely going to be able to go downfield a lot more than they were able to last year. And this trade goes hand in hand with the third thing I like about the Rams. And the Rams are an aggressive organization. All NFL dynasties start with an aggressive buck the trend type of move. Take a look at the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s. They introduced the West Coast offense, moving the ball with a short passing game, completely unheard of, changed the NFL. In the 90s, Cowboys traded Herschel Walker when they had a bad team instead of trying to build a team around him. Bill Belichick for the last 2 decades constantly making moves that buck the trend and changing the NFL. Just kind of a mild move that they did is they lost Cam Akers to an injury. What did they do? They traded 2 draft picks to New England for Sony Michel. If nothing else, the Rams are being aggressive and try to win a Super Bowl this year. If you're going to say, hey, the Rams don't want to win this year, well, how can you say that? They made a move to get a better quarterback. They made a move to trade for a quarterback this year. They just didn't go with the backup. They are trying to win this year. Trading multiple picks for proven players is kind of a different buck the trend type of move, but that's something that the Rams are doing. Most teams try to build through the draft. Well, not the Rams. They want to get rid of their draft picks, bring in proven stars. We're going to see how this pans out this year, but bottom line, every NFL dynasty was built on aggressive buck the trend types of moves, and that's exactly what the Rams are doing. So just to recap the 3 things I like about the Rams: the dynamic duo of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, the Matthew Stafford trade, and the Rams, if nothing else, are an aggressive organization. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Los Angeles Rams. The first thing I don't like about the Los Angeles Rams is the lack of depth. I think that the Rams might have the worst backup units in the National Football League. Without question, I think that the Rams are going to be the team in the most trouble if they start getting injuries. Take a look at Cam Akers. You had to trade for another running back. Now, I like Darrell Henderson, don't get me wrong, but bottom line, they felt like they needed to do that. I think that going into 2021, no NFL team can really afford to get injuries more than the Los Angeles Rams. The second thing I don't like about the Rams is the team and front office defections. This team lost assistant general manager Brad Holmes to Detroit, Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator, to the Chargers, and then Shane Waldron, who's going to take over as offensive coordinator to the Seahawks. And Waldron's been with McVay for 5 years. You know, his first year he was with McVay in Washington, so these two have a history together. And he also takes Gerald Everett, one of the former Rams, as a player. And then this defense lost several starters from their number one ranked defense from last year. You got Michael Brockers, John Johnson, Troy Hill, Morgan Fox, not a full-time starter, but he was third on the team in sacks, Samson, Ed Ucam. Bottom line, anytime you're a good, successful team, you're going to lose players in free agency, you're going to lose coaches, and you're going to have executives poached. And it makes sense. I mean, I remember Pete Carroll once saying that he trains every one of his position, or treats every one of his position coaches like they're going to be future head coaches. And it's when they lose somebody, then the next person's supposed to be able to step in. And the Rams have kind of adopted that same philosophy. And it makes a lot of sense. However, when I break down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they didn't lose they didn't lose their coordinators. They don't have this amount of turnover, and that's who you're chasing. So it's not something that cannot be overcome, but it is something you have to overcome. Finally, the third thing I don't like about the Rams is the final 5 games of the season. This stretch is going to be very difficult for the Rams. It starts off Monday night at Arizona. Then you get the Seattle Seahawks at home. Then you travel to Minnesota. Then you travel all the way across the country to play Baltimore before you end the season with San Francisco. So you get 3 of your final 5 games are on the road. And this also includes a cross-country trip all the way to Baltimore, which means that you have to travel all the way back across the country to play a division rival the last game of the season. All 5 of these games are going to be very tough, very physical teams. And what makes this really especially difficult is that the first thing I mentioned is this team doesn't have a lot of depth. So you're going to end the season with 5 teams that play a very physical style of football. So I think you're going to have additional problems. So it's going to be a challenge for the Rams no matter what. Just to recap the 3 things I don't like about the Rams. I don't like the lack of depth, the team in front office defections, and a very tough final 5 games to end the season. Now, this is the advanced part of the show. This is where I break down the Vegas over-under, and I reveal if I'm going to put action down on the Los Angeles Rams. The over-under for the Rams is 10.5, and over 10.5 is plus 115, and under 10.5 is negative 135. What this means is that if you like over at plus 115, a $100 wager will win you $115. Or if you like under 10.5, you have to wager $135 to win $100. Now, to make the playoffs, yes is negative 175, and no is plus 155. And for the Rams to win the NFC West is plus 200. Now, I personally am not going to put action down on the Rams, but I do like the over, and I do like the plus 115. That's a solid number, which means that you could take plus 10.5 at, you could take over 10.5 at plus 115, but you could probably also find 10 somewhere, and this is important because I think the Rams are a 10-11 win team. Now, to make the playoffs with 11 wins makes sense, negative 175 to make the playoffs does not. So I would not recommend putting action on the Rams to make the playoffs. However, if you're going to put action on the Rams to win over 10.5, it means you're going to win at least 11 games. It makes sense to me to take 2-1 odds on the Rams to win the division, because at plus 200, 100 will win you 200. If you think if you're going to bet on the Rams to win 11, it makes sense to put a little bit down on the Rams to win the division. My recommendation is a maximum of 20%. If I was putting action on the Rams, and let's just say I was going to bet $1,000 on the Rams, I would take either $50 to $100, 5 to 10%. But since you're getting plus 115, you could go up to a maximum of 20%. But I would recommend no higher than 20, and even 20 would be really high. Me personally, I would only do 5 to 10. Now, if you're watching the premiere, you're watching this on Friday, tonight, 7:15 Central Standard Time, I go live. I go live right here on YouTube. I will answer every single question live on the live stream. So it's going to be a great show. I really encourage you to join. And listen, if you haven't done this already, give me a thumbs up, place a comment below, and don't miss tonight's show. It's going to be a good one, and I look forward to seeing you tonight.